Hello once again, Christopher Maynard here, and today we're going to talk about deployment. Now, deployment is a method of installing software via a network remotely. In case of Microsoft, there is something called the Windows Deployment Services on the server that is used to deploy the operating systems, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows Vista, XP, that sort of thing. There's also the Microsoft Deployment Toolbox, which is used to deploy the operating system, but also software to install software too, such as Microsoft Office and that sort of thing. Today I'm going to demonstrate the Windows deployment services on the server 2008 R2. So we're going to go to our server, and the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to Server Manager, because we need to install it as a role, right? So we go to Roles, and we go to Add Roles. Okay, so adding a role, let's see, server roles, and we come down here to Windows Deployment Services. And as it says, Windows Deployment Services provides a simplified, secure means of rapidly and remotely deploying Windows operating system to computers over a network, as I said before. So we click Next. Okay, and just some things to note. It tells you that it requires a NTFS partition for the store file, and before you begin, you need to configure Windows Deployment Services by running either the Windows Deployment Service Configuration Wizard or the WSTUtil exe. Right, that'll be after we finish, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. And to install Windows operating system from Windows Deployment Service server, either the client must be PXE enabled. PXE enabled means pre-execution boot, and or the Windows Server R2 must have the pre-installation environment. Now, PXE is pre-boot execution, or pre-boot execution environment, and that's an industry standard client-server interface that allows network computers that are not yet loaded with the operating system to be configured and booted remotely by an administrator. Alright, and the Windows PE is or the Windows pre-installation environment is a minimal Win32 operating system with limited services built on the Windows Vista kernel. It is used to prepare a computer for Windows installation, to copy disk images from a network file server, to initiate Windows setup. Alright, so just some information there, and we move on. We click Next. Now we are going to install the deployment server, and we're going to install the transport server. So let's click Next. And this is just a summary, and we click Install. Okay, so the installation is finished, so we close here. Now we go back to the Server Manager, and we click Roles. We see the Windows Deployment Service. We expand on that. We click the servers, right? And our server is not yet configured, so this is where we configure our server. Right click and configure server. We will click Next. Okay, what it's asking here is where we're going to put the remote installation folder. Best practice is to put it on a volume that's separate and apart from your Windows installation. But for the sake of this demo, I'm going to leave it as the C drive. So I click Next, and it's giving me a warning telling me that it's best if I put it somewhere else. So I click Yes, I want to continue. Now what this is saying is that if dynamic host configuration protocol is running on this server, then we need to check both of the boxes below. And it says that Windows Deployment Services wizard detected that DHCP is running on it. So we're going to check the two boxes. We click next. Now what this window is asking is, how would the server respond to a request? Is it going to respond to any client or do not respond to any client computer? But obviously we want to install over the network, so we need to get it to respond. So we can either choose respond to known or respond to unknown. For this demonstration, we'll just choose respond to all clients, which is not the safest way. We click next. Okay, so it's now asking us to add the image, but we will add it manually. We won't use the wizard, so we click that and we click finish. Right, so here we are. Our server is now installed or configured. Sorry, the server is now configured, and this is where we can we're going to add our images. You see there's no boot image, so we click add a boot image, and what we'll do is we'll browse to where we have our Windows. By the way, it's Windows 8 I'm going to deploy over the network, so we're going to browse to where we have the Windows 8. We click, this is where I have it, and we go to sources and we go to the boot.wim or Windows image. We click open and we click next. Okay, we're gonna leave the default name, image name and description, and we're going to click next. So what it's gonna do is gonna actually add the image file to the location of the remote installation folder. Okay, so it's finished there. We click finish, and there you have your image, boot image. So now we go to our install image, and what we do is we right click, and it's asking us for a image group or to name the image group. Now what the image group is it's a group where you can store like images, any other thing that you need to install. So we click next. Okay, we browse and we look for the location of the image, the installed image. We click open and we click next. Right, so it's asking if we want to install Windows 8.1 Pro or just Windows 8.1. So we'll just go with Windows 8.1 for now. And we click next. And we click next. So we just have to be patient because this is going to take a little while. Okay, so there you have it. It has finished. So we click finish. We'll go to our machine that we've just created. We've created a Windows 8.1 and we'll start that machine. When the machine starts, we will when we get a prompt, we will F12. Once we get the F12, we'll get the boot options here. We'll take an L. And there you go, it is loading the files. If I can bring this up, you'll see it is loading from IP 192.168.1.1, which is the address of our server, and the boot 64X image and boot win. So as you can see, it's Windows Deployment Services, and this is the install. We click next, and it's now asking me for password, username and password, and that will be for the administrator on the server I will use. And the password. Okay, let's get the name correct. It's supposed to be on the domain name. And we click OK. There you go. We will start the installation. So basically that's it. I've deployed the Windows 8.1 from my server machine, and it's been installed here. So that's it for now. I thank you for viewing this demonstration, and I will see you next time.